When a political debate is stacked against you, sometimes the smartest move isn't to chase every talking point. It's to challenge the credibility behind the claims. That's exactly what happens when Democratic strategist Mike Nellis faces former DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin on News Nation. Instead of simply accepting her narrative, Nellis directly challenges the accuracy of her claims, setting up a tense confrontation over the controversial Kilmar Abrego Garcia case. Let's watch the exchange. Then I'll break down what happened.
Founder of American Islamic Forum for Democracy, Dr. Zuhdi Jasser, former DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin, and Democratic strategist and former advisor to Kamala Harris's campaign, Mike Nellis. Great to see all of you. Thank you so much. So, Zuhdi, let's start with you. It's just wild to see that this woman who was, mourning 9/11, going to this lengths of trying to commit a terrorist attack on the New York state capitol. She allegedly said that the White House was too difficult of a target, but she wanted to make sure that people died, so she targeted state senators. What is your response to just this news today from DOJ?
Well, I have to tell you, thank God for the FBI and that we have another foiled plot. And at the end of the day, we've been talking about cultural radicalization, about the demonization of the Jewish community, about the demonization of America, the oppressor versus the oppressed in our culture and our politics. And yet now we're reminded where that conveyor belt goes. Why anti-Americanism and blaming America it's not just about arguments, it's about a identity. The Islamists divide the world into the land of Islam and the land of war. Her language about the Senate in the New York state being taghut, which means in Arabic, it means of the devil, not of man, not of God. So this is a division of theology that we in the Muslim community need to own. And unfortunately, a big part of the American population, the far left, doesn't want to have that discussion, and they think it goes away just by not talking about it. And Islamist radicalism is hand in hand globally. My family saw this. It's global. Between the red and green axis, the far left Marxists are working with the Islamists to radicalize and take away countries like America that's based in freedom and liberty.
Yeah, 10 years ago, the State Department declared an actual genocide of ISIS taking out Christians and Yazidis in the Middle East. But now we're seeing this here today, Zuhdi, just as a follow-up. I mean, how is it, what do you make of ISIS being at play here in New York?
Well, it's interesting. And as the president of Syria now is a former ISIS, he has been targeted a few times. So there's an internal internecine battle within the radical groups about, are they going to normalize with a civilizational non-terror jihad, or are they going to actually work, continue to have a war, kinetic war? So this is a battle. At the end of the day, the target is the rest of us that are lovers of America, that would only die for America, and that are against the jihad. So we need to ramp up our verbiage about defending America and targeting the radical ideas and hold Muslims accountable and stop sort of this bigotry of low expectations where we dismiss any conversation with Muslims about radicalization in our own communities.
All right, let's switch to another story. Everyone remembers the, quote, Maryland man who the left claimed was just a hardworking illegal immigrant who was kidnapped by ICE, when in reality, Kilmar Abrego Garcia was an alleged human smuggler with domestic violence charges against him. And now the DOJ is urging a federal appellate court to reinstate criminal charges against him. Tricia, you, of course, were at DHS when all of this happened. Then in May, a judge dismissed the case against Garcia. So can you explain why DOJ is trying to reinstate these charges now?
Well, Katie, absolutely, and thank goodness that they are. Kilmar Abrego Garcia is allegedly an MS-13 gang member. A grand jury found that he was a full-time human trafficker, human trafficking being his full-time job. He would routinely abuse the women under his control. He solicited child pornography. His own wife, by her attestation, said that he abused her and her children, and he was involved allegedly in the killing of a rival gang member. This is an individual who's illegally in our country from El Salvador. He has yet to see justice. I'm glad to see the Department of Justice make sure that he sees that justice, but as well, once he serves his time, he should not remain in the United States. He should be deported back to El Salvador or elsewhere.
So, Mike, do you think that a man who's facing human smuggling charges is someone who should remain in the U.S., or is he someone that ICE should be taking out of the country?
Well, let's start here. I support removing anybody that is taking violent acts in this country and breaking the law. But they have lied so aggressively about this man. Much of what Trisha just said isn't true, as much of what Trisha usually says isn't true. She's been caught lying so many times when she was working inside the Trump administration. I can't believe she's allowed on TV to say this stuff.
Okay.
Just absolutely ridiculous.
We'll let her
to me.
respond to that in a minute.
Well, she
go
can
ahead.
respond to that in a second, but I'd like to finish my point. It's just the number of times that the Trump administration and DHS have been caught lying about people. There's a reason that every time this makes its way in front of a judge, it gets thrown out. It's because Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not a human trafficker. He's a man that they keep harassing. They're not going after actual violent criminals. I'm sure they're going to catch some. You played some earlier at the beginning of this clip, but they keep just blanketly terrorizing immigrant communities, and it's ridiculous. Leave this man alone and stop lying about him. It's just absolutely ridiculous. There's plenty of people in this country who shouldn't be here, who have committed an actual violent act. Focus on getting rid of them. Stop lying about this guy and trying to make him some martyr for your cause. It's an absolute waste of federal tax dollars.
All right, Trisha, would you like to respond to Mike calling you a liar?
Yeah, Mike, I heard a lot of character assassination. I didn't hear any facts.
It's not a character assassination, it's just the truth.
Out of Tennessee, and maybe you would be equipped with the facts that I have, and that's exactly what I've brought to the table and what the Department of Justice will bring to the table. It is a shame that the media, and unfortunately the left, including yourselves, continues to lionize this individual who's involved in human trafficking and routinely broke our laws. He will see justice.
Every judge has thrown this out. It's not true. Like, just stop it. This is embarrassing.
Well, outside of what DHS has said and what the government has said,
DHS has zero credibility here.
Okay, well, local reporting from the Tennessee Star also showed that he was involved in human trafficking and
every
other
judge
crimes.
Has thrown this out.
So
it's not going to happen. They just
people can decide for themselves. But if we all agree that I should be removing criminal aliens. Well, we did. So it's great to see all of you. Zuhdi Jasser, Trisha McLaughlin, and Mike Nellis. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you.
And that exchange leaves us with a bigger question. When officials make serious claims on national television, should viewers simply accept them? Or should those claims be backed by clear evidence? Mike Nellis took the latter approach, challenging the credibility of the allegations surrounding Kilmar Abrego Garcia and pointing to the repeated legal disputes surrounding the case. The important distinction here is between an allegation and a proven fact. Calling someone a criminal, trafficker, or gang member carries serious consequences, which is exactly why those claims should be supported by credible evidence and court records, not simply repeated on television. And that is what made this exchange so revealing. Instead of allowing the conversation to end with competing accusations, Nellis pushed back on the source of the claims themselves. Ultimately, viewers can make up their own minds, but political arguments this serious deserve scrutiny, evidence, and accountability. What do you think about the exchange? Let me know in the comments. And that exchange leaves us with a bigger question. When officials make serious claims on national television, should viewers simply accept them? Or should those claims be backed by clear evidence? Mike Nellis took the latter approach, challenging the credibility of the allegations surrounding Kilmar Abrego Garcia and pointing to the repeated legal disputes surrounding the case. The important distinction here is between an allegation and a proven fact. Calling someone a criminal, trafficker, or gang member carries serious consequences, which is exactly why those claims should be supported by credible evidence and court records, not simply repeated on television. And that is what made this exchange so revealing. Instead of allowing the conversation to end with competing accusations, Nellis pushed back on the source of the claims themselves. Ultimately, viewers can make up their own minds, but political arguments this serious deserve scrutiny, evidence, and accountability. What do you think about the exchange? Let me know in the comments.